Hello, welcome to Soulprint Insights. I'm really glad you're here today. So last week, if you recall, I did a couple of videos about the fifth dimension and about the astrological um, Saturn-Pluto configuration that's going on. That's sort of going to usher in the a different energy. The age of Aquarius is coming in. Today, I'm sort of going to continue that theme a little bit. Somebody asked me what the difference is between the fourth and the fifth dimension and why some people are talking about an ascension into the fourth and other people are talking about an ascension into the fifth. So I'm going to do a channeling on that because I think it's really, really important that we understand. We get trapped in thinking everything is linear, time is linear. And it's very, because of the way things are structured in our world. But it's very easy to lose sight of the fact that there are multiple layers of things going on energetically, simultaneously, like all the time. So I'm going to once again do a channeling from Masudius to see if we can get some clarity on the difference between these two things, and what that means going forward. And of course, as always, channeled information is copyrighted under my personal name. So the fourth dimension is about the mind. It is about people entering into a place, the fourth dimension, that allows for a deeper understanding of the forces at work, the energies at work, the evolution of the soul, of the planet, of time. It is often recognized by comments like Christ consciousness, that kind of thing. It's a spiritual headspace. The fifth dimension is it's different because it opens up and keeps that connection to the higher realms that much more clearer and accessible. And energetically, physically upon the earth, there's different shifts and transitions that go on. So one is mental and one is sort of more physical, I guess. So I'm going to start rambling. I'm going to call on Masudius to help us understand the distinction. Masudius, can you please give us some clarity and insight on the difference between the fourth and fifth dimensions and how that impacts us here on Earth, what that means, how we perceive it, recognize it, and go forward using and working with those energies? Greetings. Thank you so much for asking a question that we are absolutely delighted to answer. Greetings to all of the Soulprint family. So understand that, as you said, because things aren't linear, there are several things that go on simultaneously. And so this is currently what is predominantly the energy of the planet Earth. You have the third dimension, which is the space that most people occupy on the planet in a physical realm. With that, in addition to that, there is a fourth dimension where there is this sort of great spiritual awakening. There is the move away from organized or rigid religions or beliefs into a more open space where that connection to the divine is personal, it is internal, it is an awareness of the very strong and powerful connection each and every one of you have to the divine. So for the last while, but focused the last sort of 20 to 30 years, there has been that real push of bringing sort of psychics and seers, healers, alternative therapies. All of these things have started to move and bubble up because there was finally the awareness that literally as above, so below, that what you think is what you feel and manifest, that the earth is a reflection of heaven. There is an awareness that the connections must be personal, individual, and internal. The fourth dimension is like a spiritual awakening. It is starting to see and perceive things from different or a slightly elevated or a more inclusive energy. It is about recognizing the power of the mind. It is about setting intentions. It is about learning how to manifest. It is about learning how to connect with your angels, your spirit guides, the archangels, the ascended masters. All of that has been a process. For some of you, it was a refresher course. For some of you, it was a reminder. For some of you, it was new information that was the result of the soul's evolution, the soul continuing to move forward in one physical plane, starting to recognize and pay attention to the vibration higher, which is the fourth dimension. Simultaneous to that, you have a transition to the fifth dimension. Now, the fifth dimension transition is, it's a long process. You know, people want these transitions. It is not like flipping a page or turning on and off a light switch. There is a process of momentum building and then ultimately, in some ways, momentum sort of receding as you move on to the higher and higher elevations. Sometimes it can be confusing because there is a blending that should not have happened with the rapture and the fifth dimension ascension. The evolution and the elevation from one dimension to another is not instantaneous. In some rare cases, it can be spontaneous. But by and large, it is an evolution of a higher vibration, a higher energy shift moving into place. And there is a rhythm. So many people who reside predominantly in the third dimension are now shifting to the fourth. People who understood the fourth are moving to the fifth. But there is more soul groups that are being born to live in the third dimension because, again, this third dimension on your planet offers very vital and very important lessons in terms of center, holding the balance, understanding the power of both ends, and coming to a more center place. So as a group, there can be forward movement. So you have souls that are, continually transitioning. What has happened is, as that fourth dimension has opened up, as we said, many of those earth beings have shifted, and some have shifted from the fourth to the fifth. Now, what complicates matters even more is there are energy beings from other dimensions who are on your planet and in many ways resonate or vibrate to their home space, their home planet and vibration or area or dimension. So there are beings from the sixth dimension who are here as light workers. There are beings from literally other universes and galaxies and dimensions that are here. This channels information from a dimension higher than the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, or even the seventh. So while this channel can receive that information, she is processing it on 3 levels simultaneously. She is processing it on the third, the fourth, and the fifth dimension. She is bringing that information from a higher level and channeling it using all of those dimensions to get the message out. She's not unique. There are many, many who are able and capable of doing this work and do it. And many of you who are really functioning on the fifth dimension but think you're still in the fourth dimension. There's some of you who think you're in the third dimension, but you're really in the fourth. It is transitional. It is not a light switch. It is a process. If a soul was simply able in physical form to jump from one vibration to another, the psychic and physical stressors of trying to instantaneously attune yourself to that higher dimension would be absolutely difficult, and in some ways serve no actual purpose except creating a disharmony and a disjointed feeling. As an example, when Cyndy channels, when it's said and done, she feels as if she has drank many cups of cappuccino, huge, like, surges that move through her. That is because even though we are buffering through these levels, she is still receiving the information from a higher vibration where things simply move faster. So understand there are these layers of activities that are going on simultaneously. And that is as it should be, because you are shifting, not jumping, leaping, but shifting from one place of energy and vibration to a slightly higher one, then to another higher one and another higher one, etc. So we talk a great deal about this fifth dimension energy. And there is some confusion or clarity, simply because it's getting conflated with the stories of the Bible. And it must be understood that the stories, by and large, were really not literal. The rapture is an expansion of the heart chakra. It is an expansion of the crown chakra, where there is a freeing, so that those connections are so easily made. So there's just, where there was a veil, there is now a doorway that is easily walked through back and forth. Many, in fact, all of you are going to finish or complete their physical life on this planet Earth. But your awareness, your sensitivities are going to continue to evolve and develop, so that, for all intent and purposes, not only mentally or psychically, but in many ways physically, you will be resonating to that fifth dimension energy. So when we say physically, we're talking about understanding with more clarity sort of the spirit, mind, body connection. There is the ability to create a healing energy that you carry with you. There is the ability to communicate with great masters on any number of subjects and topics. It is an expansion of the energies. That, at its core, is what the fifth dimension transition means. So as you approach this December 21st date, and of course going forward for decades, you know, centuries, millenniums, the earth is going to continue to, with growth pains and with leaps, evolve to a place where the mental understanding is about center, unity, inclusiveness. It is about finding a way to communicate and get message across. It's about entertaining new ideas. It is an expansion from the third to the fourth. And simultaneously, you have those who have entered and are entering and will enter that fifth dimension energy. And as they acclimate to that energy, they notice that they're psychic, they're intuitive, those connections to the divine grow stronger and stronger and more intense. And there is a very easy way to flow between dimensions. There are times when it is important to remember that you have chosen, each of you, a physical incarnation in this time, in this space. You chose to be here in your current here and now because there were experiences that were desired. There was assistance that cried out to be given. There was a coming together of powerful like energies that is once again attempting to shift the planet safely and without extremes into the higher dimensions, as we covered the disappointments of Atlantis and Lemuria. So it is a process, but it is layered. You cannot think of it as linear. You have to understand that they sort of sit atop of each other and move. By and large, if you are receiving this information, if you are hearing these messages, you are most likely shifting into that 5D energy because you have already been immersed in the 4D energy, some of yous for your entire lifetimes, but many of yous for several decades. So you will transition to the 5th. And as has been said before, for many, many of you, this incarnation that you are experiencing now on the planet is a wrap-up. It is a wrap-up of your physical experiences on planet Earth. And that is why so many of you have been having and have really difficult lives. It's because you're wrapping up the lessons, you're wrapping up the karma, you're resolving that which was outstanding. And that is why, as many of you look over your life, you will see that you have so many different experiences, different jobs, different relationships, career paths, group friends. They have sort of in their own gentle way been shifting as you have gone along your life, as you complete and then open up to the next, complete and move forward. So those of us in spirit stand ever close, ever ready to assist and help, because we are well aware of the heaviness and denseness of the planet in which you are operating. And it is draining to be functioning in one dimension physically and two other dimensions emotionally, psychically, and intellectually, which is why we always are here offering a helping hand. It may very well be necessary to continue to expand on these messages if there is a desire to hear them. As you must understand, we have just barely touched the surface of understanding. But for now, we thank you for your attention, for your questions. We are honored to be part of your Soulprint family. We remain, at this time, Masudius. Okay, there you have it. Until next time, stand in your energy. Bye-bye.